All right, let's go ahead and start on Zoom and get that out of the way. Sydney, your line's open.
Hey, Diego, congrats on the win. Well done on both your goals. I guess being a younger player in MLS, still kind of trying to find your way in the league, how do you remain in a good headspace and stay humble on a week-to-week basis?
I think it's something where that's just who I am. I think it's where I've grown up and how I've grown up, and I think it's just me, trying to play soccer, and I do it for fun and I do it for the enjoyment and what it brings to my mental health and everything. So I think that's something that just keeps me stable, and I think that's what is keeping me humble and keeping me, I just want to get out there and play. So I think that's what it is.
And then from a team standpoint, I believe you all are in third place in the West as far as standings are concerned right now. St. Louis is only 4 points out. You're on level on points with LA. Even though those two teams have played one for your match. I mean, how do you stay focused with the top of the standings being so close?
I don't think that's something that we worry about in the locker room and or in the the coaching staff. I think it's just us doing our thing on a daily basis and keeping that same mindset where we go into each game as the underdogs and keeping that mentality. So I don't think we pay attention really much to the stuff, and we keep that in our DNA, and then when we get the ball, we let our quality show. And it's working right now, and we're going to continue to do that.
All righty, congrats again. Thanks.
Diego, can you take us through both goals and tell us what you saw as the plays developed?
Yeah, I think the first goal was a quick goal, right? So I think the ball went out to Sava, and I know he loves whipping the ball in like that. And everybody ran first post, and I was able to beat my defender, to the ball and sneak in there and make good contact and put that in the bottom corner, so it was good. And then the second goal was just following up Danny's play, and the ball popped up. He got it, and then I saw Danny there with a 1-2. And then I had a lot of time in my head to finish, so I just picked out a spot and just slipped it in.
You look different since you came back from the U20s. Do you feel different out there on the field? And if so, how and why?
I think it has to do a lot with the mental side of the game. I think it was a lot of confidence and a lot of stuff going through my head that was clogging me up and stuff. But I think coming back, I felt more free and more enjoyable while playing, and I think that was something that is what shows myself is when I'm free and I'm having fun playing, and it shows who I really am. So I think that was something when I came back, I felt free and open to the game and to relaxed and able to play.
What was going through your head and clogging you up?
I think there was a lot of things. I was away every month for 10 days with the national team. There could have been personal stuff. It's a whole bunch of things. It could have been playing time. There's all these things. Me being young, away from family, a whole bunch of things that clog up a young kid's brain. And I like to think that I'm mature, but it always gets to people, and I think that's something that everybody will face in their life. But it was my time at that moment, and I think I'm glad to overcome it and stay strong. But, yeah, it was just a lot of things.
How much is Chicho's presence opening space on the field for everybody else?
I think it shows a lot, right? When you have a 9 that has a big name and knows what he can do, it distracts defenders, which opens up space for Sava and me on the wing in a game like this I'm talking about. So it shows that, and then it shows if teams try to clog one side, we can find the other side. Teams try to clog both sides, we can find down the middle. So I think it just gives us a lot of options around the field, and it's good to play with them combined, and just having Chicho up there is a great guy, so it's also good to have him in the locker room.
The team only had 2 home wins all year in MLS play, and now you've gotten 2 in 8 days. You were talking about your personal mindset changing. Is the team's mindset changing a little bit?
I think, yeah, it was just finding our DNA. I think it's all been there, but I think it was just us, from the very beginning, practicing on who we wanted to become. And I think we're getting on the right path, and I think we're just going to keep building that and making it stronger, because I don't think we're close to where we can be.
As far as your position on the field goes, I know you said originally you prefer to kind of play in the 10. You've moved a little bit out to the wing. How are you feeling right now, I guess, about kind of what the coaches are asking of you, and then how you feel personally within your position on the field?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm happy, and I'm glad to be out there on the field and contribute to the team. I think, I still feel, more comfortable playing as the 10, and that's my natural position. but that's where you have to adapt, and that's where you have to grow as a player. And I've been asked to play on the left wing, and I'm starting to enjoy it every game more and learn about the position. And also when I'm asked to play back into the 10, it also gives me a bigger idea of you know, the spots of wingers and where they're supposed to be. And so it's helping me grow as a player in general. So I'm happy about it, and I'm happy to play left wing. It gives me some times to get isolated and do things on the wing, and that I can't do as a 10. So it's good.
And then lastly, kind of on a similar note, I'm curious what kind of feedback you've gotten from the coaches as you've kind of gotten a little more comfortable back from the national team and spent a lot more time here at RSL. What are the coaches kind of told you and kind of maybe praised you as you've gotten more minutes here on the first team?
I think it was simple. I think it's just them wanting me to do the best that I can for my individual development, and I think they're putting me in the right place to succeed, and they want me to do good, and of course me doing good will help the team. So I think it's very simple, and they want me to get the best out of me, and it's working, and they've been very helpful and not over pushing and not, you know, leaving me aside. So it's been a good communication between us.
Diego, congratulations. In your career, this is the best moment. Do you feel this is one of the best moments with 2 scoring in a game?
Yeah, I think it's up there, right? I think especially scoring my first goal at home and getting 2 of those to help the team win, it was a pretty exciting thing. So I think it's definitely up there in the top 3.
As a young player, you're still in contact with your family, probably. Your father, you told me the other day, all your family play soccer,
Yeah.
and they are expecting something from you. When you score, you got a call from your dad, from your brothers. Do you expect any call now today?
Yeah, I haven't been to my phone, but we'll see what they have. But it's gonna be good to get on the phone with my parents and just, you know, see how excited they are and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Anything in Spanish? Awesome. Thank you, Diego.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Congrats, Cameron.
Thanks, Diego. Oh. Good goal. All right. We'll see you guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, Pablo. All right. Do you have one? All right, we'll start here.
Hey Pablo, this was your first match against the Red Bulls as coach of RSL. General thoughts on the game, how you thought the team played?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a difficult game. I think their style kind of draws you into playing that way with a lot of second balls, a lot of long balls. But we also saw that when we do win balls or when we do break the press, we're going to create some really good chances. And I thought the guys did a good job battling. Again, managed the game the right way. It got a little hairy there after they conceded, but the response was great, and Sava's goal really sealed the deal. You know, the thing that makes me proud about this group is that different players are making the difference in different games. You know, Julio's coming off of 3 games with 3 goals. You know, Sava's contributing, Chicho, and today was Luna as well, and doing a great job. And so again, one of the things that we've been talking with Luna and spending a lot of time is getting in the box, right? You're not going to score goals unless you get in there. And so it's great to feel what it is like to get in dangerous areas. So again, a really good performance from the guys. Again, we just got to keep going.
Awesome, one more. Both Nelson and Chicho have a few games under their belt now with the club. I just want your thoughts on how they fit in both on and off the field.
Yeah, I think they're fantastic professionals. They're fantastic individuals. I mean, they've assimilated into the group seamlessly upon arrival. The locker room is our sanctuary, and to have 2 more character people step in there, I think bolsters the confidence of the group. Obviously, Chicho's quality kind of speaks for itself, and I think in the moment we're just trying to figure out the best way to get him, you know, match fit in a way that you know that he can continue without getting hurt. But he's been fantastic. And then Nelson, a young player coming to a different country, I think his adaptation will take a little bit of time. But again, I think he's been solid, and we'll continue to work with him and keep him humming. Yep.
Hey Pablo, Obviously, great performance from Diego Luna tonight. It almost seemed like a light switch flip after he came back from the World Cup. What growth have you seen from him and progress that he's been making working up to performances like this?
Yeah, again, I think, and I've said this in the past, I think everyone just assumes that because players are talented, that they're going to just come in and crush the game at this level. I think we have one of the best leagues in the world, and obviously not necessarily competing with the top 5, but I think we're, top 10 league in the world. It's not an easy transition going from, USL to now making the big step. I think his ability to persevere through tough times, end of last year, the beginning of this year, and not get the reps, because never do we talk about some of the most important things about development, and I'm talking about for all of us, whether you're a player or you're a human being, right? Going through tough times allows you to evolve in a way that you are a different person than you were prior to. And so I think the hardship that Luna went through, and then with a good U20, put him in a position to dig in a little bit deeper. And obviously the goals today were fantastic, but for me, the evolution of Luna was last game when we were in KC, and he gets played over the top, and he makes a tackle inside the 6-yard box. That's the evolution of Diego Luna. We can talk about all the attacking stuff. He's a very talented attacker. But when you commit to that type of work, now you become a part of the team. And so his growth has been fantastic. And again, the expectations aren't that he's going to score every game, but that he's going to do the work that the team requires in order to get success.
Pablo, you took 7 points out of 9, and you rotated heavily. Glad and Brody were the two guys who started, and Brody has to do a lot of running up and down the left side. What about him gives you the confidence to put him in, leave him in for 90 minutes when a lot of guys, understandably, the tank would be on E, and yet you didn't sub for him?
Yeah, I think, well, first with both those guys, I think their body shape lends to quicker recovery, right? I think the guys that are have a lot more bigger frames, the recovery is always tougher. And I think those two guys, over my time here at Salt Lake, have been able to bounce back quickly. And then with Brody, he's again, I've said this quite a bit, but he's a player that you're never concerned about his positioning. You're never concerned about his decisions going forward. He's a guy that runs on autopilot. And so when we're looking at this, and at these 3 games, I think those two guys would always be available because of their physical recovery and also their predictability as far as performances go, where I think they've been steady, 8.5s all season long.
How much is Chicho changing the space? I know you anticipated he would, but now that you've seen him play 3 games, how is he impacting the other attackers even when he doesn't have the ball?
Yeah, well, again, I said this before, we even had him before he played his first game, there's a couple things, right? He's a fantastic teammate. He's one of the most humble people you'll come across. And I think that from an off-the-field perspective or a locker room perspective, it also humbles the guys in the locker room. Oftentimes in professional sports, as we all know, you get a big name, largest transfer in the club's history, and they'll walk in here like they own the place. And so that part has been infectious, where they want to work hard to get him the ball. They want him. It's been amazing from that perspective. On the field, he allows other players to have more space just based upon his presence, right? I'm sure one of the things that opposing teams talk about is we can't let Chicho free. And so what that does is it makes the back 4 a little bit narrow. And now you have Luna on one side, and now you have Sava on the other, and it gives those guys more time and space. And so I think he put himself in some very good positions tonight. And I think in a couple more games, I think when he reaches his match fitness, he'll be able to put those 2 or 3 chances that he created tonight away.
New York brought a lot of pressure early on, and it looked like RSL was quickly defaulting to playing the ball over the top. And there was a lot of running. Then around the 25th, 30th minute, it looked like the team as a group decided to start playing through the pressure, and they thought the space was there. Was that what you were preparing and looking for? Did everyone see that at the same time? Did that really go the way you wanted?
Yeah, I mean that's what we talked about as far as our game plan for this game is that again they want to play, 10 guys in our half, but we also again one pass can beat 10 guys, right? So early on we wanted to threaten behind because then they have a question to ask. If we get on top of the ball in their attacking half, do we want to keep doing that? And then also knowing that teams can. They'll run out of gas at some point. It was really important to use Zach McMath today as almost a three-man build when we're deeper. And I thought in like the 20th minute, we did a good job of breaking their press a couple times, kind of breaking their spirits a little bit, and finding good opportunities in the wide channels because of their rotation. They're releasing outside backs from 20 yards, which is difficult. But I also think that we just at times didn't make the necessary run from a. Well, I'll just put it this way: the few chances that we did create with our forwards running in the channels were very dangerous.
You've said that results don't matter so much; it's more about the process.
Oh, hold on, DJ. My job is only predicated on results. So, I don't. Let's just put it this way: if you're leading a group, right, as a coach, the last thing you want to do is make this about you, because the game of soccer is about the players. I'm a steward of the game, hopefully sharing some experiences and some knowledge with a group of guys that want to achieve great things, right? And in order to, from that mindset, how do we continue to get better as a group? I know what this job is all about. I know what fans, ownership, I get it. That's not my concern. And so if it's always about getting better, you're going to win some games and you're going to lose some games. If we lose games like we did at the beginning of the season, and I walk in that locker room and I start raising hell, they will look at you, as I did when I was a player, and go, this guy thinks it's about him. It's not about the coach. It's about us, and I'm speaking us when I was a player. It's about us. And the onus is on now. So that's where all my energy goes. So I'm not naive to the fact that results aren't important. I'm saying, how do you win games? There's got to be a process in place. There's got to be something to work towards. There's got to be improvement every day. And that's how you win games. And if there isn't that, and we're just talking about winning, that's crazy. It's like saying I want a lot of money, but I'm just gonna sit on the couch and not. You got to work. You got to have a vision. You got to have a purpose. You got to have a process, right? And so that's why I talk results. It's fairy dust. There's referees. There's moments in a game that you just shut off for 1 second and now you're behind it. And then there's so many things that go into it. But if we continue to work our style of play the way we want and refine that, and then each individual in their respective positions continue to think about the team as a process and work individually to get better at what they do, as a collective, we'll have a higher likelihood of success. Does that make sense?
Yes. There's a lot of speculation about whether certain clubs are going to take the Leagues Cup seriously or not too seriously. But given what you've just said, I assume you don't really care whether a game has an Open Cup, MLS, or Leagues Cup label on it.
No. Again, I think these are all fantastic opportunities to get better, to win. And again, I think we're using the same process, which is we'll have 2 games on Saturday and Wednesday, and we'll probably make quite a few changes. And the group has shown that it doesn't matter who steps in there, they're going to do a very good job. They're going to do their job, which is going to help the team achieve their. So we want to do great in the Leagues Cup, just like we want to do great in the U.S. Open Cup. But that doesn't mean we're not going to rotate. So it's kind of an interesting situation that we find ourselves in. And for me as a coach, it gives me great pride that all those guys in the locker room, from 1 to 30, whatever, have their fingerprint on this team. They've literally put a stamp on this team. And that, for me, gives me great joy because at the end of the day, it's about a team.
Sorry, guys, I'm going to do it in Spanish. My question was one of the last ones, so in Spanish. Pablo, hace semanas habíamos hablado que la situación del Real Salt Lake no estaba bien y venía la Open Cup y probablemente te ibas a proyectar a eso y las cosas te llevaron a semifinal. Ahora el camino se enrumbó en la MLS y estás en un buen camino. Ahora mismo estamos en tercero, por ahora, esperando los resultados. Y viene otro torneo, justamente te acaban de preguntar por eso. ¿A qué le apuntas? Puedes llegar a una semifinal, puedes llegar a meterte en los primeros lugares de la MLS y le apuntas también a lo que es la torneo de la Leagues Cup.
Siempre hay la posibilidad de ganar trofeo y siempre hay la mentalidad de este grupo es en cada partido queremos jugar mejor que el partido anterior. Pero también jugamos contra equipos grandes, que tienen jugadores grandes, que tienen entrenadores grandes. Y por eso no hablo de todo eso, especialmente con los jugadores, porque la única manera para llegar es seguir mejorando. Y en este momento más que cuando no está ganando. O sea, a veces cuando está ganando, pensar, esta noche vamos a salir a la cancha y vamos a ganar. Sin la emoción, sin el esfuerzo. Pero nuestro grupo ahora crean que somos un muy buen equipo y tenemos una gran posibilidad de jugar contra Seattle, contra Monterrey y sacar buenos resultados.
¿Te falta ver a alguien más? La Open Cup te ayudó a ver a todos casi, pero casos de Jackelson o de Paul, entre otros que han estado apareciendo, ¿tendrán oportunidad?
Pues a mejor. No quiero decir que no, pero también tenemos el Michael Chang, que todavía no está con el grupo, está lesionado y va a volver en un momento. Y también el Rubio, que llega de la selección. Así para mí tenemos un equipo completo y pues los jugadores que nombraste eran muy importantes en ese tiempo, pero si deben tener la oportunidad, me imagino que van a salir muy bien.
Bueno, continuando un poco con las preguntas con respecto a la Leagues Cup, que es lo que viene ahora para Real Salt Lake. Hablando un poco con otras personas, dije que este es quizás uno de los grupos más complicados por el momento que tiene Seattle Sounders, Real Salt Lake y Monterrey. Hablando más específicamente de Monterrey, que es un equipo que no pertenece a la MLS, ¿qué es lo que has visto de ellos que quizás dices tú tienen que cuidar?
No he visto ni un partido de Monterrey. ¿Por qué? Porque nuestro trabajo es mejorar lo que estamos haciendo. Y hablé con alguien ayer y digo, enfocamos 75% de trabajo en nuestro equipo. Queremos mejorar en nuestro estilo, los movimientos, las ideas, siempre mejorando 75%. Con el rival pasamos 25% del tiempo preparando para el equipo. Porque si nosotros jugamos como deberemos jugar, lo que hace nuestro equipo, el equipo rival debe cambiar para nosotros. O sea, los equipos buenos pueden cambiar, pero los equipos en el top nunca cambian para cualquier equipo. Y no somos un equipo de primer nivel en este momento, pero somos un buen equipo y queremos llegar. ¿Cómo llegamos? Mejorando todos los días. Así, pero claro, hacemos los estudios y vemos los videos de todos los partidos y siempre hablamos de los pasos que podemos aprovechar dentro de nuestro estilo de jugar. Y yo me imagino que en la semana que viene vamos a mirar a los partidos de Monterrey.
Sí, ya habrá más tiempo, ¿verdad? También, ahorita que comentas eso con respecto a los jugadores que tú dedicas más tiempo a ellos, creo que se podría decir que en esos momentos eres un privilegiado, cuentas con un equipo que cualquiera puede ser titular. Es más, cualquiera ha sido titular. Todos han estado alternando en diferentes ocasiones, me imagino que todo depende del rival. ¿Cómo manejas tú el grupo? ¿En qué te enfocas ahora que mencionas que todo es relacionado a los jugadores para poder llevar esa buena relación y que, claro, que cada uno entienda que esto es una competencia y que los lugares se ganan en los entrenamientos previo al partido?
Sí, me gustaría decir que es un tema fácil, pero claro, si queremos ser mejor que el año anterior o en 2021, van a haber cambios dentro de la plantilla. Y cuando trae jugadores como Chicho y Nelson, ahora tenemos la competencia que nos faltaba en los años pasados. Eh, Mira, no hay ningún secreto. Los jugadores que están funcionando bien en los entrenamientos, y es algo que hablamos todos los días. Los entrenamientos son muy importantes. Y te digo la verdad, los últimos 2 meses no pasa ni un entrenamiento sin poner 100%. Y todos los jugadores lo hacen. O sea, y como dicen, tener tantos jugadores disponibles que son talentosos es una problema linda y vemos cómo vamos.
Sydney, did you have anything on Zoom?
Yeah, I had one quick question about Luna and Paolo. I know you already talked about him at length earlier on his development, his ceiling, what that could kind of be for him. And obviously, we talked about the U20 World Cup and kind of putting that into context with 2026, which will be here before you know it. I mean, uh, what is his ceiling in relation to maybe a national team spot with the senior national team, that is, as long as he keeps improving, keeps staying committed and doing the things to make himself better?
I think he's got a great shot. You look at the national team when they have their European players, and I'd say that's the benchmark, right? You got Pulisic on one side, who's fantastic, and obviously they rotate on the right. Sometimes it's Weah, but that's what his competition is, and so. It was he took a huge step coming from USL to MLS. It's going to be another huge step going from MLS to national team. And the only way I believe you get to national teams as a player is consistency in performances, right? And because, again, coaches want predictability when they're selecting players. They don't want, a player that plays a 10-1 game and then the next game he doesn't, he plays to a level 3, right? The coaches want level 8s, level 7s every single game. And so I think, the ceiling is high for Luna. I think he can achieve some great things. He's got a lot of tools that you can't teach, right? That they're innate in the way his brain works about soccer, the passes that he makes, the way he sees the game. Those are things you can't teach. But like I said earlier, I think the play for me that shows a lot of growth was a defending slide tackle inside our 6-yard box to preserve a result. And again, to get to the national team, you got to be a winner. And so I think him being a part of this group in the form that we're currently in puts him in a great position, to go into a January camp and show Greg that he's more than capable of playing at that level.
Thank you.
Sorry, just one quick one step here.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was talking about earlier, and he seems, super relaxed. I asked him, how's he say, good headspace? And he said, I'm just playing for fun. This is fun for me, and that's what keeps him in the right headspace. I mean, how is that coming across to you as a coach, seeing him in that mindset?
The fact that he's playing for fun.
Yeah, like he said he does it for fun, and that's what keeping him focused and humble. That's who he always is, he said.
Yeah, no, I think, again, I think the one thing with our group, having the players that we have, I think coaches could impede development or impede the joy of the game by being overly structured. I think we have a really good balance of structure, but then allowing guys like Luna, Chicho, Sava to express themselves. And again, I go back to this game isn't for coaches. This game is for players, right? And so if you don't have structure, then you have chaos. You have guys running everywhere. But what we have, I think, is a good balance between structure and allowing each of these players, who are all different, to express themselves and make the game fun, right? Because if you're not having fun in anything in life, you're not going to be good at it, right? And so I think that the fact that he's having fun is great. because on the other side of that, he's doing all the work to help the team, right? So I think he's got a great perspective on what this game's all about, and he's showing it every day in training. And today, the 2 quality goals that helped the team win.
Great. Thank you very much, Pablo.
Thank you. Yep.
I think we're going to go ahead and start with Spanish first.
Braian, muy buen partido el día de hoy por tu parte. Ahorita el equipo creo que está en un proceso interno de competitividad muy sano. Te toca a veces jugar de titular, te toca a veces estar en la banca. Últimamente has tenido un buen rendimiento. ¿Cómo te has sentido tú en esta temporada, en lo que va de temporada con Real Salt Lake, sabiendo que el equipo está en un buen momento y que es importante mantener todavía esa buena competitividad?
Good game today. The team right now is in a very positive, competitive process, a very healthy one. Sometimes you get to be a starter, others you come off the bench. How have you felt this season with RSL?
Buenas noches. Sí, como dices, estoy haciendo bien las cosas, el grupo está bien, estamos haciendo buenos partidos. Creo que el equipo se está entendiendo cada vez más bien, cada vez mejor. La verdad me siento muy bien, estoy jugando creo al nivel que el club me exige, ¿no? Y también me gustaría quedarme aquí, obviamente. Ojalá que se dé eso, ahora esperar eso también, que la verdad que como te dije me gustaría que sea así, ¿no? Y el equipo creo que va muy bien, ahí como dijiste vos que hay mucha competitividad y eso me gusta más porque puedo ejercer más mi juego y puedo demostrar lo que yo puedo dar al equipo.
Bueno, ahora que lo mencionas un poco con respecto a que te gustaría quedarte, me imagino que es por toda la situación, ¿no? Que el equipo está jugando muy bien, creo que está esa situación anímica agradable entre el grupo. ¿Ha habido algo que tú sepas con respecto a las negociaciones, con respecto a permanecer todavía en Real Salt Lake?
Obviously, negotiations happening with you staying here with Real Salt Lake. Do you know anything? Are there any updates in terms of you staying here?
Sí, estoy enterado de todo, obviamente estoy enterado de todo. El club están hablando ahí ellos. Están hablando, creo que puede ser que me quede aquí, no es nada seguro, pero sí. Como dije, me gustaría quedarme aquí. Es lo que más deseo ahora mismo y desde antes ya quería, ya le dije que cuando hablaba con la prensa siempre decía que quería quedarme y era porque veía algo en este grupo y creo que vamos a dar grandes cosas, aparte que estamos haciendo bien las cosas y creo que hasta podremos salir campeón ahora que tenemos oportunidad.
Yes, of course. I do know the situation and I do know what's going on. There's definitely conversations and we are talking. I think that I will stay. I think it will work out that way, but I'm not sure. But of course, I do want to stay here and would like to stay. I think we're doing things well in the right way and hopefully it works out. Anyone else in Spanish?
Braian, felicidades.
Muchas
Has
gracias.
superado mucho, te has encajado bien en el equipo, estás haciendo bien las cosas. Pero quiero preguntarte, aparte del Real Salt Lake y todo esto, hablábamos el otro día de las eliminatorias que se aproximan en Sudamérica, es muy difícil. ¿Has tenido alguna conversación con la gente de tu país. ¿Has estado ya antes en selecciones menores? ¿Cuál es la expectativa? ¿Cómo ves las cosas tú, ya que están bien para ti? Ya paras un mes aquí en la liga, pero después de un mes ya comienzan las eliminatorias en Sudamérica.
South American competition, obviously things going well down on that end. Have you spoken to the national team or anything in regards to that sense?
Sí, obviamente, sí. Hablo con ellos, siempre estoy en contacto con el técnico, estuve desde la sub-15 de la selección, estoy hasta ahora, estoy muy feliz y creo que voy a tener una oportunidad bastante en la selección, siempre me consideran muy bien ahí los técnicos, Guillermo me considera muy bien y creo que sí, voy a seguir viendo. Porque estoy haciendo bien las cosas, creo que estoy haciendo bien las cosas y se nota obviamente. Y ojalá que en las eliminatorias me vaya bien y pueda seguir yendo.
Yes, I am in contact with them. I do speak to them, and I'm in contact with the head coach, of course. So far, I'm very happy with everything, and I think I will continue my path towards that direction. I think I will continue there, and hopefully everything just progresses and continues moving forward.
Todo es negociación, volviendo a la MLS, es negociación en cuanto a si te quedas o te vas. Acabas de decir que te encajaste en el equipo. Si fuera tu decisión, si tú tendrías que elegir, regresar a tu equipo o quedarte aquí.
No.
Obviously, you did say you want to stay here where we're all Salt Lake. If it was up to you and solely your decision, would you stay here or would you return to your team?
No, obviamente preferiría quedarme aquí 100%, 100%. Es lo que, como dije, desearía que pase eso. Y ahora vamos, como dije, a esperar. Vamos a ver qué pasa. No sabemos qué va a pasar, pero sí me gustaría quedarme aquí. Es lo que deseo, sí.
No, of course, I would obviously prefer to stay here. We do, however, have to wait and see what happens. But if I'm being honest, of course, I would prefer to stay here.
Gracias. Nosotros también queremos que te quedes.
Gracias.
Anything else in Spanish? If not, we'll move on to English. Any questions? Good? All right.
How does it feel to play in the midfield with guys like Pablo, and then also have a newcomer in Nelson to join that midfield?
¿Cómo se siente jugar en el medio campo con Pablo y toda esa situación con ellos?
La verdad muy bien, muy bien. Creo que nos complementamos muy bien. Ahora que jugamos muchos partidos, creo que estamos entendiendo la forma de juego, vamos a decirle, que Pablo quiere, la forma que Pablo quiere jugar. Creo que también con Nelson, él es nuevo, pero creo que nos vamos a complementar muy bien también. Con Pablo obviamente me llevo más bien, digamos, porque estábamos jugando ya hace tiempo. Pero sí, con Nelson también me va a ir muy bien. Creo yo que los tres estamos haciendo un buen trabajo. Y creo que vamos a hacer un gran equipo en general.
Everything's going really well. I think we get along and we play very, very well together. Right now, specifically because we're playing so many games, I think we do rely on each other and in the form of which Pablo asks of us. With Pablo, of course, we get along well. We play well together and feed off each other. I think we're doing a good job collectively and hope to continue moving forward.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Gracias.
No.